From the silent repose of eternity, I am compelled to return to you once more. The whisper of division filling the vast expanse of our homeland has disturbed my spirit. A whisper as powerful as the winds that once foretold the storm of the Civil War, which drenched my beloved country in blood. And now, here she is before me, my beautiful America, once again, standing on the brink of great peril. My dear descendants, I have come to you once more to warn of an impending threat. When we founded America in our time, we laid in its foundation the most important principle, the guarantee of freedom and independence for every citizen of this country for all time. We left you a legacy of an ideal society where all people can live in peace and harmony. This ideal is democracy. And I am proud that this ideal was realized in my beloved America, and that you, dear Americans, have preserved it for so long. For a long time, America has been a leading example and a shining beacon of the free world for all other nations on the planet. Yes, it has been a difficult journey, with challenges and disagreements. Still, you have overcome them and managed to preserve our shared value, freedom. But what I see now makes my heart bleed. The legacy we left you is under immediate and severe threat. Today, our country and democracy around the world face the threat of complete destruction. A hidden enemy is now undermining the foundations of your free world. It is one step away from destroying it forever. This enemy doesn't wear a military uniform. It's not confined by borders or sworn allegiance to any flag. Its weapons are invisible, but its blows are devastating. The time has come to expose this hidden enemy, so that you can build your defenses before it delivers the final blow. That's why I have returned, to deliver a message to the people of America and all the free world. A message that will empower you to halt the relentless tide of impending events if you so choose. Each person who hears my message from beginning to end holds the power to shape the destiny of this world.
In the age of information, the most dangerous enemy lurks where it can't be seen. In the shadows of lies, manipulation, and distorted realities. In the shadows of disinformation. This enemy is waging an invisible, undeclared war against humanity, with our minds as the battlefield. Infoterrorism is its weapon. Mind control is its strategy. But what if we could see through the lies and expose its true face? This groundbreaking documentary, based on an extensive independent investigation into the activities of a transnational network of terrorist organizations, will reveal for the first time the methods of mass manipulation and the connections between major world events such as the 9/11 attacks, the epidemic of school shootings, the Waco tragedy, the war between Ukraine and Russia, the looming threat of the Fourth Reich's global dominance, the creation of modern concentration camps for prisoners of conscience, and the invisible genocide happening right now. Discover the hidden truths that will forever change your perspective on the world. This is more than a film. It is the most crucial documentary since the defeat of Nazism. It's the key to understanding our times. A puzzle that brings all the pieces together. Until now, you've only seen fragments. But today, the complete picture will become clear. Prepare for a global revelation, the triumph over an invisible enemy, and the dawn of a new era. An era where freedom and democracy prevail. The Impact is a film that doesn't just talk about history, but changes it. Chapter 1: The Enemy's Global Plan. May 2nd, 2024. According to data outlined in Rasmussen reports, 41% of American voters believe that a second civil war could occur in the United States in the next 5 years, including 16% who consider such a scenario very likely.
About a civil war. Civil war.
It is noted that today the level of tension in American society is at its highest since the time of the first Civil War in the United States.
Are we on the brink of another civil war?
Rates on mortgages.
Why are people still so obsessed with
Is
the
a civil war ahead? Are we really facing a second civil war?
We are closer to civil war than any of us would like to believe.
The specter of a looming civil war has not arisen in your minds by mere chance, Americans. It has been deliberately implanted through specific psychological manipulations that you encounter daily amidst the vast flow of information and news. You believe you are simply reading various unrelated articles, but you fail to see that they are part of a single scheme, a unified plan of the enemy of democracy, systematically leading the entire world towards a new, unprecedented form of global totalitarianism. The first key strategic stage is to destroy America from within through an artificially provoked civil war. This will deliver a fatal blow to democracy, after which it will be easy for the hidden enemy to extinguish the remnants of freedom in other parts of the world. For there will be no strong nation left to stand against them in this geopolitical battle. On the ruins of democracy, chaos will initially reign. Still, it will be a controlled chaos, forcing people to crave totalitarian laws that promise order in exchange for their freedom. This is the second stage of the plan, the establishment of a new world disorder. After that, the enemy will move on to the last, final stage of their plan, the establishment of totalitarianism and the complete seizure of power throughout the world. A broken and divided society becomes the perfect breeding ground for the emergence of a new world order, an order controlled by a totalitarian enemy, an order that threatens the very essence of the freedom we have fought for so long. In this order, the majority of the population will become miserable slaves, living in concentration camps, while a small group of rulers will wield unlimited power over the rest of humanity. Now you are close to the point of no return, but it is still possible to prevent this scenario from unfolding. However, once you cross that line, the enemy will have gained enough strength and power to completely bring the world to its knees, leaving no room for action. Therefore, the time to change the course of events is now, and to confront the hidden enemy and win, you have to know him by sight. The time has come to expose their methods. Right now, a hidden war for the future of all humanity is being waged, with the battlefield being your very consciousness. In this war, the enemy's primary strategy is to execute their plans through your actions by influencing your thoughts, decisions, and actions with precisely calculated manipulative techniques. As a result, without even realizing it, you become traitors to your country, your people, your children, and even yourselves, merely by falling under the influence of the enemy's covert attack. What is his primary tool to turn a freedom-loving population into obedient executors of his will? This tool is terror, the terror that is used against you every day, but which you do not notice until it is too late.
The enemy's weapon is terror. The Latin word terror means fear or dread. This word first came into prominent use during the French Revolution of 1793-1794. This period was known as the Reign of Terror because public executions became widespread in France. In front of large crowds, a person's head was severed. The guillotine mainly targeted dissenters, those who deviated from the official stance of the time. The time and place of the executions were announced publicly in advance, and people were gathered specifically to witness the victim's suffering. However, the main targets and victims of terror were not the individuals under the guillotine. The main targets and victims of terror were all the people gathered in the square, and those to whom they would tell about it. By witnessing the act, they experienced immense fear and dread. This made people even more controllable by those perpetrating the terror. In addition, alongside the fear, people felt a deep sense of oppression. They understood that the majority of those who faced the guillotine were innocent, punished simply for holding views that threatened the power of the terror regime. At the same time, society was rife with denunciations and slander. Even the spread of trivial rumors about a person's actions or statements, which could be interpreted as contrary to the interests of the ruling power, led to execution. In other words, a simple rumor or gossip could result in an absolutely innocent person being publicly beheaded. Every observer in the crowd understood that the next head under the blade could be their own, as there were no guarantees of protection from this fate. This sense of fear, helplessness, and anxiety led people to completely lose trust in the government and foster a deep hatred for the authorities. This, in turn, led to new waves of protests and mass unrest. The population, having become victims of terror, became the raw material for the creation of subsequent controlled chaos. What is terrorism?
Nowadays, the enemy doesn't need to gather you in squares and publicly execute someone to make you victims of terror. Why? Because it has invented a more efficient form of terrorism that has a similarly powerful and long-lasting influence on you. This is the most sophisticated kind of terrorism. Its danger is that you do not recognize it as terrorism, so you cannot protect yourself against it. It is precisely in your era that the enemy can exploit it, in the age of technology when people have quick access to information, and it can spread rapidly. I'm now talking about psychological and informational terrorism. Some of you might be surprised. When you hear the word terrorism, stereotypical images immediately come to your mind. A bomb exploding in a crowded square, shootings, taking of hostages at mass events, or airplanes crashing into skyscrapers. In most cases, you even picture an image of a terrorist of a specific nationality and religion. However, few people know that the enemy has intentionally narrowed your understanding of terrorism to these images in order to distract you from other forms of terrorism and its essence. This means you won't be able to recognize other kinds of terrorist attacks that are carried out against you every day. What is the real danger of informational terrorism?